Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the void that you will need to fill. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the void, this is what I'm referring to post-narcissistic relationship. I will give you many examples in the video of the void that perhaps you're experiencing right now or you have experienced in the past, not only with narcissism, but with life in general, and that how you'll have to fill the void. Here we go. So the relationship, it's over, it's done. Let's say that it's been over for a period of time, let's say a couple weeks as an example. Now, what happens is there is a void. There's a natural void that you're gonna have to fill. What you're accustomed to is being in the relationship with the narcissist. You're accustomed to being taken super high and dropped super low, because remember, the relationship was like a roller coaster. You never knew which way was up or down, and you were always on the go. You had an endless to-do list. You were always doing things and providing your services, your life, your time, energy, effort, everything you provided for the narcissist because you put them in front of yourself. Let's take a small example here. Let's say, remember the smartphone. The narcissist frequently would have not only their smartphones glued to their ears, but they would also make sure that your phone was on you so they could disrupt your energy at the drop of a hat. In other words, you could be at work doing your job and whatever how you were making your money, and the narcissist would blow up your phone every now and again. Remember those days that you would be sitting there at the computer doing your work, whatever you were doing, and you would see the narcissist's name come across and you're like, oh my gosh, what's it gonna be now? I just did 10,000 things, now I have to do another thing. But that is how they placed you. That's how they groomed you and trained you to be subservient and to reply to them with the texts. That's an example. But now, like I said, the relationship is over. Now your phone, it's not being blown up any longer. Now you're trying to figure out what to do with your time. Now you're perhaps at the office working, and you're probably figuring out what kind of relationship that was. Then you find my channel. You get your first light bulb moment, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what that was. And it isn't just me that went through something like this. There are hundreds of millions of people who have experienced this, and many of them don't even know what kind of relationship they were in, i.e. a narcissistic relationship. Yes, yes, and yes, that's all true. But there will be a void. That's one example. The void is the texting part. No longer do you have to respond in a second. As a matter of fact, once you've healed and or you are well on the healing path, you understand that just because somebody texts you does not mean A, they deserve a response. B, you don't have to drop whatever you're doing to respond to anybody via a text. And C, consider the source. Who is it? Is it someone that has your best interest at heart? Well, then respond if you want to. But if it's someone who's just trying to chew up your energy or your time, really understand the message. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to read the text if you don't want to. Now, of course, if it's an emergency, I get it. That's a whole different story. But the point being, many times people just want to consume your energy. So the void will be a big one. Let's take a football example, if you will, for a moment. Your favorite team, they are practicing probably right now somewhere, whether it's soccer or American football, whatever you want. And they have a goal to win the championship, whatever it is. Well, they're working hard for it. And then let's say at the end of the season, they win whatever the big event is, the World Cup or the Super Bowl. Well, then now what happens there? Well, now there's a void. There really is. Are they going to celebrate for a couple days or weeks? Probably, but then the next season arrives and they have to fill that void. So what do? They take their time, they practice, they restore their energy, they put themselves back together, and then eventually they get ready for the next season. Now that's a football analogy or a sports analogy, but it's the same thing post-narcissistic relationship. There will be a void. Now, no, I'm not insinuating that you should go out and find another narcissist. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you're going to have to be calm, be centered, be stoic, be patient, and really fill the void with yourself and heal properly. Remember, there is no magic pill or wand that can be waved that will help you to heal. It doesn't work that way. The healing path is not linear. It takes time, and in your time, with the tools I provide and with your patience, my hope is you will heal. You will reach that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. But we're not there yet. We are trying to fill the void. Another void that you'll have to fill is the social circle that you had. It's most likely blown up all around you, and the wedges have been thrown in between you and anyone that meant anything to you. Your family, your colleagues, your coworkers, people in organizations or communities that you were a part of. These people have all now probably heard a part of the smear campaign, which I'm certain was well underway virtually from the beginning of the relationship. But the point is, this is another void. Now you're going to find out that you're not going to want to go to certain locations or certain events, or you're not going to want to see people. You're going to want to self-isolate. Remember again, there's a big difference between the narcissist isolating you and you wanting to self-isolate because you want to heal. That is the void. Remember, again, the narcissist wanted you coming and going and spinning around on that hamster wheel, doing everything for them. And they wanted to extract your resources from you, which they succeeded for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. But all that's gone now. And what you need to do is you need to be calm and centered and understand that, yes, you were in that relationship for a period of time. Yes, it wasn't what you thought it was. You're going to have to practice radical acceptance and understand that you can't change the past. You can only learn from it. You can't predict the future. What you should be doing is living in the present moment. Now, I'm bouncing around a lot on this video to let you know that there are many different kinds of voids that you'll have to fill, but time is a huge one. Now, I suggest frequently on the channel, if the relationship ended recently, or even if it didn't, to journal, to see a therapist if you can, who is trained and or unfortunately has gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle, to meditate, to heal childhood wounds, to take time out for yourself. That's what I'm suggesting. Understand this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. You can't predict when you will heal, but in time, in your time, my hope is you do heal. But having said these things, there is a void. Think about it. Think about this. Let's take another basic example. You graduated high school or college. When you graduated, what happened? Well, there was a void there because now you're not going to school, and now you have to step out into the world and figure out if you're going to work or what you're going to do and what kind of job you want. Think about this. The same thing when you relocated. Let's say you lived in one town or city or country, and just say that you packed up and you moved to a different part after you graduated college, as an example. Well, there's a void there too, because now all the things that were familiar to you are now foreign to you. You don't know where you are. You don't know your bearings. You don't know many people, if anybody. You have to figure out the streets and what businesses open and how to get to where you're going. It's all new for you. And that is exciting. It's the unknown. And when you enter the unknown, that's where the magic happens. That's where the growth happens. That's where the abundance is waiting for you. The abundance is not waiting for you sitting next to the narcissist on a couch watching Netflix when they're on one of their 3 smartphones. I'll tell you right now, that's the last place the abundance is. But yet that's where you were for a period of time. You were being devalued. You were being ignored. You were being given the silent treatment. You were experiencing rage fits. You were being told that you wouldn't amount to anything and that you were lucky to be with the narcissist, things like that. You were being crushed each and every single day. You just didn't know it because you were in a silent battle with the narcissist. And the longer that relationship went on, the more toxicity you experienced and the more of your beautiful bright light, your energy went into the narcissist, and they dumped their toxicity into you. That is why when these relationships end, they usually end with a thud, a crash, a bang, shock value, if you will. Because the narcissist, if they did discard you, and if they did, my heart goes out to you, but if they did, what they tried to do is inflict as much damage upon you as possible so you would not succeed, so you would not get out of the narcissistic fog, and so you would not fill that void. Now here, this is very important. Let's say the relationship did end recently and you're not sure what to do. You don't know which way to turn, what's going on, and why is this person still in my mind? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you were most likely in a very challenging and toxic relationship, i.e. a narcissistic relationship. And that is not a good place to be. I was there. I know what it's like. You're going to need to break the trauma bond. You're going to need to understand your value. You're going to need to understand that person never loved you or cared about you. You're going to need to understand that perhaps they could attempt to hoover you back, which means they believe they didn't finish you off, so they want to go back for another round. Maybe it's round 2, 3, 4, 15 of abuse. You can't accept a hoover. Hoovers are not good. All it means is the narcissist, you cross their mind for a period of time and they're going to try to finish you off, which means they're going to try to sell you a bill of goods and tell you that they've changed, that they miss you, that you're the love of their life, that they were so wrong, that they can't live without you, things like that. None of that's true. It's all nonsense. Don't believe it for a minute. But there are many voids that you'll have to fill throughout life. Think about it. Think about if you're a mom and you just had a child. Well, there's a void there because now you just carried the child for approximately 9 months and now you gave birth and now you brought a new individual onto this planet. Well, there's a void there now because now you don't have to be eating for two and thinking for two and all those things. You now have a different circumstance. You now have to raise the child, nurture the child, make sure the child has a beautiful, bright existence, and help them to get through their childhood unscathed, meaning narcissism. You get my point. But that's another example. There are voids all over throughout life. They're all scattered everywhere. And the void post-narcissistic relationship is one of the most challenging ones to fill. The reason why, again, is because if your relationship did end recently, you have to figure out, was it a narcissistic relationship? Then you're gonna have to learn the glossary, the terms, the definitions about the narcissistic abusive cycle. You're gonna have to put yourself back together. You're gonna have to understand that most people that you knew when you were in the relationship didn't have your best interest at heart. Most people will disappear like cockroaches when you turn on a light switch in the middle of the night in your kitchen because they want nothing to do with anything, because they believe the smear campaign. And then you're gonna have to also understand that you're gonna have to rebuild your life. On top of all of that, you're gonna have to really process that relationship. Now again, not trying to trigger you or upset you, I'm just letting you know there will be many voids post-narcissistic relationship until you heal. And even after that, there will be other voids, but not specifically to narcissism, but to other parts. Like let's say that one of your kids, like we used as another example. Well, your child just got married. Say they're a young adult that got married. Well, now that child, who is now a spouse, well then they moved to a different part of the country. Well, there's a void there. You don't see them every day. Now they've moved for a new job and to create a new family. That's another kind of a void. But these voids, many of them are positive. Many of them. Some of them are challenging, to say the least. All of them need to be filled, each and every one of them. And they can only be filled by one person, and it's you. Nobody is going to come knock on your door. Nobody is going to come and save you. No one's going to do anything, because no one can read your mind, and nobody knows what you're experiencing, specifically post-narcissistic relationship. Many people just thought, oh, you were just in an average relationship, but they weren't behind the four walls with you and the narcissist for years. They don't know the abuse that you endured. They didn't see the toxic behavior that you saw each and every day. All they saw was either Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, which most likely, and I'm not sure which one is which, but the good person, that's the person that most people see. The not so good person, the nasty person, the narcissist, is the person that you got to see, because the narcissist had to regulate themselves, and how they did that was by abusing you. And many times it's in a moving car, many times it's in the house when no one's around, many times it's through email or text or a phone call when they're screaming at you or being belligerent. This is what the narcissist does, and they do it each and every day until you do what? That's right, until you close the chapter of the book on the narcissist. You go no contact, you block them, you remove all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and you understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third, and you begin to heal. But with these illustrations of voids that I shared with you, there are so many more, but there's no void at all on the planet like post-narcissistic relationship, when you are left on the side of the road, crumbled up like a sheet of paper, and you're basically left to not exist. That is a very challenging void that must be filled. But again, if I did it, you can do it. You need to understand that each and every day will be a new challenge for you. Some days will be great, some days will be, maybe you have a setback. But remember, like I said, the healing path is not linear. Just stay focused on yourself. Know that this relationship you were a part of was administered by the narcissist. In other words, they tricked you and they manipulated you, and they took advantage of you. They hoodwinked you, if you will, and they had you fall in love with them when in fact they cannot fall in love with anybody. Remember, the narcissist cannot love, and they have no empathy. They care about one person on the planet, and it is themselves exclusively. So get the message, you guys. The point being, there will be many voids throughout this journey called life, and post-narcissistic relationship is a void that you never knew that you would experience. But believe me when I tell you, you will experience it. Veterans, if you know what I'm talking about with the void and how you filled it, please drop comments below. Share your wisdom with the newbies. Newbies, if this is you where you are and there's a void right now, and perhaps you're missing the narcissist, or you still can't block them or go no contact, get the wisdom on my channel. Believe me when I tell you, the path is to move forward. Leave the narcissist in the past. They will not change. They only deteriorate over time. They do not improve. They don't love you. They don't care about you. They never have. They never will. What you're experiencing now, if you are a person, a newbie, or someone that is in the void, what you need to do is really slow your life down, focus on yourself, and practice radical acceptance, and practice your Your mental health is what you need to do, to be honest with you. And talking to the narcissist is not going to change one thing for the better. It's only going to keep you stuck in that narcissistic fog. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.